Tinuod nga na ay bata. Kakit. Bati mo umat nila hindi katito. Erko. Kita masimbale mo umat hindi.
Just days after a devastating magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck the southern Philippines, the people of Sarangani Province found themselves facing yet another disaster. As communities struggled to recover from the powerful quake, heavy rainfall triggered flash floods, landslides, and dangerous conditions across several affected areas. The earthquake struck on June 8, 2026, near Maasim in Sarangani Province. The powerful tremor caused widespread damage to roads, bridges, homes, and public infrastructure. Transportation and communication networks were disrupted, leaving many communities isolated as emergency teams launched rescue and recovery operations. However, the challenges were far from over.
Lord! Ang anak Lord!
In the days that followed, weather conditions across the region deteriorated. Forecasters warned of thunderstorms, intense rainfall, and the potential for flash floods and landslides. With the ground already destabilized by the recent earthquake, even moderate rainfall posed a serious threat to vulnerable communities.
Ay, wala ni naunsa ni kaning daan na kayo sa una pang panahon. Kaning ikaduha ni. Guba jud.
Oh, fuck! Ate! Oh, shit!
Then, on June 13th, heavy rains swept across parts of Sarangani Province. Within hours, floodwaters began rising rapidly in several areas. Roads became submerged, travel was disrupted, and residents found themselves dealing with a new emergency while still recovering from the earthquake's impact.
Dako kayong baha oh.
Communities in and around Maasim experienced some of the most difficult conditions. Floodwaters covered sections of major roads, making transportation increasingly dangerous. In some locations, mud and debris further complicated access to affected communities, slowing relief efforts and creating additional risks for residents.
Dito na yung boat tubig guys, oh.
The combination of earthquake damage and severe weather created a challenging situation for local authorities and disaster response teams. Emergency personnel closely monitored flood-prone areas, while residents were urged to avoid flooded roads and remain alert for possible evacuations. One of the biggest concerns was the increased risk of landslides. Earthquakes often weaken hillsides and loosen soil, making slopes more vulnerable during periods of heavy rainfall. As rain continued to fall, officials warned residents living near mountains and steep terrain to stay alert for signs of ground movement and potential slope failures.
Yan, dito na guys. Oh, dito na yung tubig guys. Naangkol!
Ay, wala ni naunsa ni kaning daan na kayo sa una pa nga panahon. Kani ikaduha ni. Guba jud.
The flooding also affected ongoing recovery operations. Delivering relief supplies, medical assistance, and emergency equipment became more difficult as damaged roads and hazardous conditions limited access to some communities. For disaster responders, the situation highlighted how one natural hazard can quickly lead to another, creating a chain of challenges for affected populations.
Guys, ginaraw. So ayan guys.
Despite these difficulties, local governments, emergency agencies, and community volunteers continued working around the clock to assist residents. Teams conducted assessments, monitored water levels, cleared debris, and coordinated support for those most affected by the disaster. Fortunately, available reports indicated that the flash flooding did not result in major new casualties. Even so, authorities emphasized that the danger had not completely passed. Continued rainfall could trigger additional flooding, while landslide risks were expected to remain elevated for days or even weeks after the earthquake.
Nawa na joy makaagi guys. Kana mga taga bye-bye di na pwede maglusot diri, di na kalusot diri.
This disaster serves as a powerful reminder that the effects of a major earthquake do not always end when the shaking stops. Damaged infrastructure, unstable ground, and weakened landscapes can leave communities vulnerable to secondary hazards such as floods, landslides, and aftershocks.
My God. My God. My God. Ayaw. My God. Kusugat sa linog ko eh. My God.
Okay kayong ulan sa bukid Mindanao. Pero guys. Ay ba guys tara.
Wala ka tong tagire.
For the people of Sarangani Province, the days following the earthquake have tested their resilience and determination. Families continue to rebuild, communities continue to recover, and emergency responders remain focused on helping those still affected by the crisis.
So ayan guys. Dito na nga sa may mosque guys. So yung mga tao dito na
ayan po. Laking baha po.
As recovery efforts move forward, officials are encouraging residents to stay informed through weather advisories and disaster updates. In situations like these, preparedness, timely information, and community cooperation play a critical role in protecting lives and reducing risk. While the earthquake may have been the beginning of this story, the recovery process is still ongoing. And for the communities of Sarangani, the road to recovery will require patience, resilience, and continued support in the weeks and months ahead.